Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 and our chats with Emily as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 734. If he were living, dare I ask? And the word dare is a significant word in this poem. In many ways, we're back to earlier poems. You'll remember when we did 577. Now, all of these are going to be death poems. Emily, as we've commented on, very interested in death. She says, if I may have it when it's dead, I'll be contented so if just as soon as breath is out, it shall belong to me. Until they lock it in the grave, 'tis bliss I cannot weigh. For though they lock thee in the grave, myself can own the key. Think of it, lover. I and thee permitted face to face to be. After a life a death will say, for death was that and this is thee. I'll tell thee all. How bald it grew, how midnight felt at first to me, how all the clocks stopped in the world, and sunshine pinched me, 'twas so cold. Then how the grief got sleepy some, as if my soul were deaf and dumb, just making signs across to thee, that this way thou couldst notice me. I'll tell you how I tried to keep a smile, to show you when this deep all waited, we look back for play at those old times in Calvary. Forgive me if the grave comes slow, for coveting to look at thee. Forgive me if to stroke thy frost out vision paradise. You guys will remember when we did 622, similar referencing to death. To know just how he suffered would be dear. To know if any human eyes were near to whom he could entrust his wavering gaze until it settled broad on paradise. To know if he was patient, part content, was dying as he thought, or different, was it pleasant day to die? And did the sunshine face his way? What was his furthest mind of home or God, or what the distant say? At news that he ceased human nature such a day, and wishes had he any, just his sigh accented had been legible to me, and was he confident until ill fluttered out in everlasting well? And if he spoke, what name was best? What last? What one broke off with at that drowsiest? Was he afraid or tranquil? Might he know how consciousness could grow? Till love that was, and love too best to be, meet, and the junction be eternity. Finally, you'll remember when we did 648, similar recognition of death. Promise this when you be dying. Some shall summon me. Mine belong your latest sighing, mine to belt your eye, not with coins, though they be mented from an emperor's hand. Be my lips the only buckle your low eyes demand, mine to stay when all have wandered, to devise once more, if the life be too surrendered, life of mine restore. Poured like this, my whole libation, just that you could see, bliss of death, life's bliss extol through imitating you. Mine to guard your narrow precedent, to seduce the sign, longest on your south to linger, largest dews of morn, to demand in your low favor, lest the jealous grass greener lean, or fonder cluster round some other face. Mine to speculate Madonna, if Madonna be, could behold so far a creature, Christ omitted me, just to follow your dear feature, ne'er so far behind. For my heaven had I not been most enough denied. Now, this poem was published in the Atlantic Monthly in March of 1929. And I don't know our assumptions that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hoping you work through our set of introductory comments. Emily herself, very much interested in death. In fact, she wrote in a letter at 21 to her pal Jane Humphrey, the other day I tried to think how I should look with my eyes shut and a little white gown on and a snowdrop on my breast, and I fancied I heard the neighbors stealing in so softly to look down on my face, so fast asleep, so still. Emily, as we said in our introductory comments, Emily is very interested in all facets of death and dying. Here, we'll see it again. I'm hopeful as well that you've read the preceding 733 poems that we've already worked through. We just finished with 733, The Spirit is a Conscious Here. Now, if you've done that study, and especially those 3 poems we just read, 577, 622, and 648, by the way, 3 of her longer poems in the collection, there is Emily's courage to stare death in the eye and the willingness to meet the fears that are associated with death. She'll say it this way in 734. If he were living, dare I ask, and how if he be dead? And so around the words I went of meeting them, afraid. I hinted changes, lapse of time, the surfaces of years I touched with caution lest they crack and show me to my fears. Reverted to adjoining lives, adroitly turning out wherever I suspected graves. 'Twas prudenter, I thought. And he, I pushed with sudden force in face of the suspense, was buried? Buried? He? My life just holds the trench. The brilliance, of course, of moving from the past to the present tense and the use of the word just in the final line, it's beyond brilliant. Watch, notice the speculative first line. If he were living, dare I ask. Now, as in so many of Emily's poems, we don't know who she's referencing. Who is the one she wants to ask about whether he's still alive, but it troubles her to ask about whether he's still alive because obviously he could have already passed. And how if he be dead? This is an interesting question without a question mark. Notice all these questions without question marks in this poem. And so around the words, notice capitalized. I went, by the way, notice the past tense of meeting them afraid. She'll go from afraid to show me to my fears. And then notice the hinting. We called our series Chats with Emily for so many different reasons. One of them is Emily is always hinting. She's always kind of gesturing, looking at. She says, I hinted, notice capitalized, changes. Like, have things changed for him? Lapse of time. How long has it gone on? The surfaces of years. She's playing at the epidermal level because she doesn't want to get at the deep level to find out whether in fact he's actually gone. I touched, notice, with caution, lest they crack. Now, the antecedent of the pronoun they is interesting here. Probably changes or words, and show me to my fears. In other words, she's afraid that he might have already passed. She is dancing around the topic. Reverted to adjoining lives, starting to talk about maybe those who knew him. And then she uses the word adroitly. We'll come back one other time in 1636 to this word. Turning out wherever I suspected graves. 'Twas prudenter, I thought. You'll remember prudenter from 531. And he, dash, I pushed, dash, with sudden force, dash, keyword sudden, in face of the suspense. The suspense is killing me, she says. And then quotation marks, was buried. In other words, now she's finally told about the one she's investigating. And then notice the use of the dash. Buried, exclamation point. He, exclamation point. In other words, she had a premonition. My life just holds the trench. Now, this is compelling for a number of reasons. She'll use this phraseology again. My life closed twice before it's closed. Just here, my life just holds the trench. Of course, the trench is the burial place of the one she's missing. What are we going to say about a message here of this one? I think it two-way. The passing of someone we love, someone we care about, is so hard. And we sometimes don't even want to know. The things we want to know, we don't even want to know. So we hint at it. Well, the obvious question is, who is the he? Who is the him? Who is the one she's referencing in the poem? At 3a, the scholar priest has pointed out that it might be that Emily's love of Shakespeare took her to Julius Caesar, Act 3, Scene 2. You'll remember that Mark Antony tells the crowd at Caesar's funeral that, quote, my heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. It's very possible that this set of lines is constructed around a reference like the JC line. We've given full lectures at learnstrong.net over Julius Caesar if you're interested. Finally, at 3b, who is someone in your life that you cannot imagine losing? and you really don't want to even hint at the possibility of the loss. Thank you.